Hello dear friends and valued viewers. The significant end of the year 2025 has now truly arrived, and in this comprehensive video we will carefully sum up all the important results, specifically what genuinely worked out well and conversely what regrettably did not. And I will also provide a detailed forecast for the upcoming year 2026. So let's get started. I'll express it in this manner. I've been actively involved in the financial market for well over 11 years, and in the cryptocurrency space for a considerably extended period of time, specifically since the year 2016. I've been through a considerable amount of experiences and challenges, and reflecting on everything, I can truly say that this entire year was truly successful, primarily because there was a significant and tangible profit generated. There weren't any major crashes or shocks, mainly because I already have the experience, knowledge, and understanding of how it all works. The market itself, of course, is more complicated. I'm talking about cryptocurrencies, but let's stick to the facts. Let's begin. I'll be doing a review, so I'll probably make myself a bit smaller on the screen. It was about, or perhaps upon further reflection, that particular course of action might not in fact be a truly good or advisable idea to pursue at this moment in time. Look, here we had a comparison between Bitcoin and Apple as a company, a consultation. I had a hypothesis, but what exactly is going on here? Was everything really like this in actual fact? If you carefully look here, you can clearly see the very same zone being shown, and this particular kind of horizontal distribution moving steadily downward, basically, is what we observe. Looks very similar. This one here, observing the peak, it is indeed off by approximately a month or so, give or take a little, but overall, for the comprehensive review purposes, it is essentially the very same. From this particular point, we then proceeded in this direction. We carefully touched upon this specific point, and subsequently we moved even further upward, continuing our ascent. Here, Altezon, of course, first of all, Altezon is a scam. This is the primary and most significant conclusion for the upcoming year of 2025, and this is already a fact. With the right reasoning, the season here for gold is still at about 2,600. Here there were many valuable coins, we definitely had them, and the entire sector was incredibly hyped and enthusiastic. But all the Litecoins, as you understand, performed very poorly. Everything showed bad results, even the euro and everywhere else. So if you truly want to trade well, you should consistently rely on certain established patterns that have a very good and proven track record. This particular one is indeed one of them. I've written about it many times, and here's how it works. Okay, the cool plan was basically like this. There was this triangle. It's an analogy from Bitcoin. What happened was, after such a rise, there is a consolidation, triangles, a liquidity grab above the triangle, and then a move down. Here, even without a liquidity grab, we came into this zone. As you can see, everything is marked here. The best thing about TradingView is that you can't change anything here. This chart was published much earlier, back in 2020, but here I just updated it in 2025. Here we see that it's up, and the same situation is happening here. With oil, basically. Well, this is truly my absolute favorite musical instrument, just so you know. I've probably made the most significant amount of money on it as well, but I still trade it. Recently, there was also a situation where it was clear that there should be a rebound. Still, in Ether and Bitcoin. Looking ahead to the year 2025, the cryptocurrency Ethereum at a significant $10,000 valuation is certainly more of a hopeful wish rather than a concrete data-driven forecast. So we clearly saw that significant dead cat bounce, and honestly, I genuinely don't see anything particularly good or positive coming after that. Since October, we have observed a consistent trend. We haven't reached those targets, but even after hitting those targets, we'll still go down on this chart. As for the alt season, it didn't happen. Alt season just passed us by. It's the same situation. Something like that. And the chart looks like this. It's probably disappointing, but basically it's just a removal of liquidity from below. That's how these triangles work right now, all those so-called ones you talk about. And here they even showed the date, but honestly that's for 2023. The update is scheduled for publication in 2025. Just so you understand, as you can see, this line here is for 2023, not 2024 or 2025, but specifically 2023. It's not here by accident. This is where it ends. That's exactly why I exited all assets in September 2025. So you get the idea. After that point, it is more fundamentally about pure desire, but that is truly the underlying asset. Litecoin is indeed the valuable asset that will ultimately get there sooner or later without a doubt. Because this kind of consolidation in a triangle like this, overall, the probability is very high that we'll break out upwards with liquidity being taken out from below. That's possible, but we'll get there eventually. We just need to wait a little bit. So we have an update for February 2025, basically 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. And then the movement continues, as we can see. And here you can click again. Yes, oh, well. And September 2025. Here, it was shown everywhere where I would exit. Here I exited. That's it, the end. And here's this bar, this red arrow pointing here. Right into this zone, 40, 48, 38,000. I've mentioned these numbers a long time ago. They've come up again now, but there's a very high probability that we'll get there further. This is the bigger picture, again, September 25th, that's where I exited. And this is a publication from February 7th, 2025. Next, what do we have here? We definitely had these specific kinds of targets and objectives right here. You could say we've practically reached both the first and the second target. Even that very same Hopi has in fact already practically reached it too. Next, let's take a look at Diva Dix, February 21st, 2025. While you understand, the weakening of the dollar will continue further. No matter what anyone says, this cyclical analysis works. Moving on. The hopes for Chainlink, I must say, also didn't truly come to fruition. It was one of those particular coins that I genuinely wanted. Even after this significant market move, I was still counting on us reaching its full potential as well. Here is that favorite pattern, the very one that showed further movement. Now, as you can see, the situation is such that I believe in a bright future for Chainlink. But it's hard, very, very hard right now in this market, even for altcoins as top tier as this one. Moving on. So back in the memorable year of 2022, specifically in the year 2022, I published and said that we would come here. There were a lot of non-believers here. But the fact remains, it took a long time. We went for 3 years, but we made it in the end. Here we have Devo and Dix, which were published back in 2021. There are some old timers like that, and here it is. We should reach it. So there is still an understanding of the market, and there was an understanding of the market back then too. And to Rodina, and please subscribe to the channel, for which I am grateful to everyone, and I will be even more grateful. If you follow the link in the description and register, you will become my referral. For this, you will be granted access to a group where I share ideas, all entry and exit points, and you can also ask absolutely any questions about your situation. I will help however I can. That's basically what I'm interested in, the same situation. So let's go back to the chart. It's the same situation here, and now it's already March. Here it basically shows exactly what I expect to happen. All of this valuable information was published a considerable time ago. Some individuals genuinely believe it, while others, understandably, do not. But as the old saying goes, I meticulously crafted a comprehensive plan, and I am steadfastly sticking to it. And if you are interested, please feel free to join us, become a valued member of our exclusive private community. Next, this is the same with RIM BTC. Well, no one believes in these charts either, absolutely no one, and this is even in 2023. Well, yeah, okay, it's the same situation here. What is it? September 2025. There were hints everywhere, of course, we didn't reach those targets, but we exited perfectly. And for now, we're not in a hurry to re-enter. WorldCoin, big hopes. AI hopes, Sam Altman. And there was a move to that target. Honestly, I wasn't even happy anymore because I'd been waiting for those levels for so long. Here I wrote about Vanguard. Yes, it's the king of RWA. Here actually the chart didn't quite work out as we had initially planned, but we are still presenting everything we currently possess and have available, including our stop loss mechanisms. However, it's important to note that this particular chart serves more as an educational, illustrative and instructional example. This specific data point pertains to Rome. On the 28th day of March, we observed significant liquidity, among other relevant factors, but the drop was even lower. Here many people were quite disappointed, already exiting the Ethereum ecosystem and so on. And this truly is our gold. Personally, I believe the situation here is the same as with Ethereum. We didn't immediately reach those targets. But on the hourly chart, of course, we did reach them after the liquidity was taken here. Okay, next. What do we have? This is March 28th. It was truly excellent here. It didn't quite reach the very target, but the idea was indeed evident. First, we absolutely required to correct our course after that immediate loss. So looking at the EUR-USD currency pair on the 4-hour chart, in principle, the correction targets, the primary targets for this particular movement, are clearly defined and visible. Have already been reached. Let's see what happened here. Basically, I can't delete anything. I show everything in order. This is the wick. Next, we have gold, a bullish market, levels of correction from which we can bounce. As you can see, go mantra. A story about how This is a scan of gold, a continuation, depressive. What's happening there? And then we just keep going to 6,000. Next, we have a smaller time frame, the hourly chart. It didn't go any further. We have that very specific type of SFP. And this is the monthly chart, but you understand where our targets are. Here it is, basically. That's exactly what it's doing. 5 scenarios, the 5th scenario of Bitcoin and the closed channel. I think in this, as you may have seen in some way, well, and this is September up to September 2025. Next, what we had here were these kinds of things. Here's a scenario with such targets without this correction. In all these scenarios, that is in almost all of them except one, there was this correction, but it didn't happen. Smart strategy. If we're at the upper boundary, we sell. If we're at the lower boundary, we buy. Right now, the chart has worked out very well. Take note of this. So here we have with MP, smaller, some time frames without a downward correction. Chainlink has already moved up. Again, disappointment from this level. Bounced, but didn't go for a new high. In general, everything that happened with altcoins has been a big disappointment, and it's the same situation here with gold. And a grand total of 198 exactly. So this is the current date of April 10th, and we are projecting that we should have a substantial amount of $98,000 in the upcoming month of May, and the setup worked out. So regarding Euro and ETH, on these very small time frames, there were indeed some noticeable corrections, but allow me to show you something quite interesting. You will quickly grasp the main idea. That is to say, the market was thoroughly analyzed and understood. There was a clear understanding of what crucial elements Aptos had previously missed with these alternative zones and so on, specifically regarding Forex and the broader Forex market. And if you're interested, syrup. It was also interesting to anticipate expectations, but it also didn't quite meet initial expectations. At first it actually went up significantly, but then unfortunately it quickly dropped. So here we have July, and here we already have various extensive discussions. Well, everything was precisely the same everywhere. The crucial dates, the significant points, and absolutely everything else was clearly shown and meticulously presented. And then right here, the definitive end of the entire cycle truly began. I was waiting for an alt season that never happened, and I admitted my mistake, and after that I exited the entire market. I realized that it wouldn't happen in September either. But very few people did. To be honest, it's not just a few. When someone makes a mistake, everyone says, oh, he made a mistake. And after my mistake, after admitting that mistake, I said that I was leaving the market, explained my reasons, and even made a few more posts after that. But aside from the dozens of posts you saw about me expecting a correction at that particular timing, and of course it seems to me that not many people wrote about it, but I think there was a certain amount of skepticism. Already, moving on, what we have here is not just about Bitcoin itself. It's clear. Here, 2 targets were shown, which were expected, and both of them were hit. Liquidity, by the way, was taken here, and many people didn't exit. I won't say how many, but they entered. Here, this is Ethereum versus Solana, where in the end I chose Ethereum 26. So On April 25th and 26th, I posted an update, basically from 150 to 154, and then the maximum was 200, which is plus 25% here. Well, you remember all of this. I was intently watching to see who would ultimately win in all of this, specifically on the chart relative to the performance of Bitcoin. Well, that is precisely the current situation here, and it is clearly Ethereum, especially since this is Ethereum 2, which is a significant development. Here, there were genuine hopes for a successful season. I personally gave it a trial period of 30 days, a full 30 days here. It was already explicitly stated here that we were indeed heading significantly down, but this is now in fact October, and here it is October right now. I warned you, there were so many warnings here. We dropped here. This is my most protected chart, 43,000 views, I don't even know how many likes. Distribution, hello to everyone. Here we observe the exact same compelling story presented on this very identical and informative chart. We are looking at the precious metal gold, which sends its warm greetings from the significant year of 2017, showcasing its historical performance. And well, I think you're following all these charts. I sincerely hope you can clearly see here what we are realistically expecting for the year 2026. Honestly, there is not much genuine positivity to be found. I fully expect that we will indeed consolidate and begin to form certain predictable patterns. But I will also most certainly be picking up various altcoins with the specific amount of capital I have carefully allocated for this purpose. And at those significantly lower price levels that currently exist, the precise ones I am patiently waiting for. And basically there's no new all-time high update there, which is quite significant. If we're talking about a substantial 64,000, I will definitely enter below 48,000, and if it drops further to 48,000, I will absolutely buy even more at that 48,000 level. That is indeed the comprehensive plan and strategy. That will be my last purchase if it happens, if it gets there. Of course, I'll leave it for the kids, but basically there's nothing good to expect. I expect that around September or October. In September, I'll start entering the market more seriously. I might even sit out for a month to try to perform a bit earlier, to get ahead of the whole story. And before that, I'll be trading gold, crude oil, some carefully selected alternative cryptocurrencies on shorter time frames, focusing much more intently on significantly improving my own valuable skills, innovative products, and so on and so forth. And I truly believe that this particular year could significantly change a great deal because the supportive and influential circle of people around me is steadily and positively taking shape. There are good people, a good attitude, and basically the information that's coming in now. Which I would say I've earned through experience, so to speak. I'm completely satisfied with it. And honestly, I don't even think this is the best year from the point of view of the markets. I'll end up in profit, and if you want to do the same, I'm not promising that we'll turn $100 into $1 million. In fact, I'm not promising anything at all. I'm not giving any financial advice. I just love what I do, and I'm not telling you to copy me. But those are the facts. And if you want to hear any more predictions for 2026, please feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the section below. I will answer everything. I truly love you all, and I wish you a very happy new year and a truly Merry Christmas. Goodbye.